Jiangmin. I'm a CMG reporter. We are now at the Luntai County Tarim scenic area. In this part of the county, we have a very natural poplar tree park, which is of the size of 1,700 birds' nests. In this part of the county, it has an area of more than 100 kilometers. Behind me is the largest poplar tree. It takes 5 persons of my size to circulate. You can take a guess the age of the tree. When we came to this scenic area, we can see all types of different sizes of poplar trees, and by the end of October, they will show you their best look. We also have a poplar tree that is called by the locals as apple poplar. All right, now we're going to get on the minibus. And we have a guide today to tell us more about the poplar trees. So we're going to take this minibus to travel to the different sites of the park. We just had the flood season. Let me give you a hat. This is simply for the protection against the mosquitoes. So what will be the first stop? For the first stop, we're going to see this largest poplar tree. So it takes 4 persons to circulate. So it's just like a giant that is taking its roots deeply in the ground, and it's protecting this piece of land. And then we're gonna maybe drive 17 kilometers, and we will get deep into this forest of poplar trees. All right, fasten up. So how large is this area? Well, let me tell you, 60% of the poplar trees in the world are located in China's Gobi Desert, and 90% of the poplar trees in China are located along the Tarim River basin. So in this park alone, we have more than 100 square kilometers, and the overall poplar tree area in China along the Tarim River is 3,800 square kilometers. So in this part of the park, we have poplar trees that are of thousands of years old, and some of them are hundreds of years old. Yes, because it takes a very long time to grow. And those trees with a diameter of 30 centimeters, they are 1,000 years old. And the locals believe that they can survive for like 3,000 years, because even when they die, their trunk wouldn't rot after 1,000 years. And we call this type of poplar trees the long-beard poplar. Why is that? Well, because they have very long beard, just like the Uyghurs people, and right now we have actually trimmed them, and if we don't trim that, they will give you this long beard just like those Uyghur men. If we trim that, we can minimize the evaporation of the humidity. So it's such a soothing feeling to enjoy this beautiful scenery on this minibus, but I find that there are a lot of mosquitoes. Well, this is something you cannot avoid. Well, on the other hand, it tells the humidity of this area. Exactly. So I can see those poplar trees, they are in very good shape. We are putting in place a lot of protective measures. We have very good plantation. We have many different types of plants, and we have licorice, and those are purely natural licorices, and we also have matrimony vine in the color of black. We have plenty of animals. We have red deer, which is a level 1 animal under national protection. We have black sheep, black stork, and wild rabbits. We have a rabbit that is called Tarim rabbit. This is also under level 2 national protection. It has no rival in this part of the park. And in July and in August, this place is their heaven. And they like to get gathered get together on the road. They might be dating. So this is the first stop that welcomes all the tourists. Yes, and later when we get closer to a tree, I can show you the different types of the tree leaves. Or we can actually pick up one from the ground. Take a look at this leaf in my hand. You can see that at different stages, their shapes are different, and you can make some comparisons. Compare these two leaves, and this one in my hand is in this fan shape. This is the middle stage look. If it goes to the next stage, it will become a rectangular. It will become this oval shape. All right, now let's continue with our trip and take a look at the apple poplar. We have actually 4 different poplar trees here. We have willow poplar, maple poplar. We have even apple poplar. We call it apple poplar because the leaves are very similar to those apple trees. I'm talking about the apples that we eat. So it's just one additional type of the black poplar tree? Correct. So the apple poplar tree, you can see there are a lot of poplar alkali. And what is that? Well, this one is very stunning, and you can see these crystals in the color of yellow and white. Well, because when the water comes out of the trunk, when it gets a lot of sunshine, it will show this form. So this is just like the calluses on a person's hand, and it's actually squeezing out those excessive alkali of the ground. So the trunk simply releases those excessive alkaline, and that is why it forms this kind of crystal. And you talked about this apple poplar. This is mainly because the leaves are very similar to those on the apple tree, and you can see this from this tree, and you can give it a simple touch, and it's very thick. But it's smaller than the leaves of the apple tree, but they are identical in terms of shapes. So that is why the locals call it the apple poplar tree. All right, after that, let's get back on our minibus. We are going to arrive at one must-go place of this park. You will board on a mini train on which you can enjoy a much better scenery. You can pass the wetland, and if you are lucky, you can encounter some migrant birds. So the willow poplar tree, in July and in August, they recognized as the rose flowers in the desert because in July and August they are gonna blossom. Some of the flowers, they are blown away, and their roots are deeply underground. I talked to those officials at the Forest Bureau. Sometimes when the roots cannot get the water from underground, they will show this very decayed form, and we thought they are dead, but they're actually not. Next year, when water comes, when water level rises, they will take back their life again. I have been working here for quite a few years, and I can see how resilient and how vibrant they are. And I know that when they are budding, when they have when they have leaves, there will be a worm, a kind of a parasite that may swallow all the leaves. And I thought that they are dead. But after half a month, when the worms are no longer adapt to the environment, they will die. They will extinguish. So this shows the resilience of the poplar trees. Well, sometimes when you think the roots are dead, look at the trunk and look at the branches, and they're in the color of green, and this is very magnificent. So this is simply their mechanism to reduce evaporation. Some of them, they may look like they are dead. They are actually not. They are actually just in this dormant form. When the water level rises, they will come back to life. So you're telling me basically the water from this Tarim is providing great support to all the poplar trees. Exactly, because this year we have a additional discharge of water in the Tarim basin, and this is just adding additional water to this park. And 60% of the poplar trees they have been irrigated this year. And most of the poplar trees they are very small and they are very resilient. And if you chop it off this year, next year they're gonna come back to life. But they grow very slowly, and you come back next year, they will be exactly identical. And I can see a lot of smaller poplar trees. So we are now boating on this Tianjie Lake. This is a lake formed because of artificial control of the reservoir. With that, we can solve the water problem of the locals, and we can also form this lake view. We have a tree park. So in this part of the country, we have not just the poplar tree underground, we have a very rich reserve of oil. And this is also the first stop of the west to east gas and oil supply. All right, now we are at this must-go place of this trip. So this is called Qiayanghe Railway Station. Why you call it Qiayanghe? Well, because when we were constructing this railway station, we encountered a lot of scorpions. Scorpions are pronounced as Qiayanghe in the Uyghur language, so we call it the Qiayanghe Railway Station. All right, so this is the waiting hall. Yes. So how much is one ticket? The full journey is the 200 yuan per person, and it's 13.5 kilometers, and we have a couple of stops along the journey. All right, now I can see this map. These are the different sites. We have the wetland poplar, we have the leisure lake. So what is this leisure lake? So we have actually three lakes. We have the Case Lake, the leisure lake, and also the island lake. This leisure lake is the smallest among all the three. We just give this a very entertaining and leisure name. We also have another lake right at the right corner, and it's called the Crane Lake. Each year around November and December, it can attract a lot of migrant cranes, and hundreds of wild ducks also migrate here for the winter. We are putting in place very strict control and protection here, and this island lake is very suitable for all types of fishes, for example, wuchang fish, and all types of the other species. So we're going to take our boat tour later, and we can maybe see more. So this is just the bird view of the panoramic view of this place. And we saw this poplar tree forest. We took the minibus. We arrived at this Qiayang Lake Road, and we saw this apple poplar, and then we are at this railway station. All right, next up we're gonna board this mini train and to bring you more about the beautiful sceneries here. And it's actually a combination of different types of sceneries. How will that look like? All right, let's get on the minibus. Thank you. All right, where should we sit? Which place gives you the best view? Well, you can take either side because this is the best season, and normally during the peak season of tourism, we are under a lot of pressure because there are too many tourists. All right, take a seat and you can maybe give us more introduction. All right, we have studied our train tour. We are traveling right in the middle of this poplar forest. So this is quite different from the minibus in terms of tourist experiences. We actually traveled a great distance with the minibus. We traveled more than 10 kilometers. And well, take a look at the view here. None of the trees are trimmed. The branches are very natural, and the branches are very long. And in late autumn, you can get on a train like this and open the window, just get close to nature. And I can feel that the trees are lusher here. Yes, because this is near wild and near a natural environment, and you can take a look on both sides of the tree, and they have a lot of beards on the trunk of the poplar tree. Yes, and they are very natural. So we are actually driving along the tributary of the Tarim River, and later you will see that. We will maybe have a stop of 15 minutes at each stop, just so we can give the tourists plenty of time to take photos, and then they can get back on board. And we have altogether 13.5 kilometers, and it takes 2 hours and a half for this train journey. So it's 13.5 kilometers, but on this train journey, you can see many different types of poplar trees, enjoy different views. We have red willows, we have poplar trees, we have lakes and wetland. If you're lucky enough, you can encounter a lot of migrant birds. So this is a place very similar to those Gobi Desert, only with trees. This is like in Oasis. So put yourself in this environment. It's truly surreal. The red willows outside the window, you can see they are in different colors: red, green, orange. All the different colors are in this place all at the same time. So this is the very natural combination of colors. If you don't come to Luntai, you don't know how beautiful the poplar trees are. And if you don't see this poplar tree, you wouldn't be able to feel how resilient our Mother Nature is. So they are very lush, they're very dense, and they are very resilient. Even against the drought, they can survive and they can thrive. So it depends on the level of water that you're having in the year. All right, we have covered some journey. All right, we are going to move on to our next stop. All right, now we are gonna switch to our boat tour. I'm gonna take you closer to those poplar trees on the water. So that is quite a different feeling, and you can see the shadows of the poplar trees in the water, and it's quite a very extraordinary feeling. All right, we can get on the boat and to take a closer look at those poplar trees on the water. So this is one tributary of Tarim River. It's called the Xinjiang River. How big is this river? Talking about the river basin. So it's 70 to 80 kilometers long, and it makes a lot of detours, and the river is 7 to 8 meters wide, and it's 10 meters deep. Towards the banks, it's 2 meters deep. So we're gonna get on this boat. We will maybe travel 10 kilometers. If you have plenty of time, you can maybe spend one whole day on a boat. So this is just our recommendation for our tourists. All right, so this is our travel boat. So this is a very ancient style boat. So at the peak season, how many tourists can you accommodate here? On a daily average, we can accommodate 10,000 tourists. At the end of October, how long will the peak season last? So it's actually very long, and you can actually enjoy this beautiful scenery from October to next July. So this is one mother river of Xinjiang, and it's the Tarim River. We can now give you this aerial view, and you can see how important water is for this part of the region, because water is nurturing all types of life, and it's just like a green great wall, and it's supporting all types of different lives, like the black sheep and the red deer and wild rabbit, and all the different plantations. And water has created conditions for all the different types of farms, different forms of life. And if you are a photographer, you can find the best view on the river, because that gives you a different angle, and you can see the shadow of the trees on the river. Yes, there are a lot of mosquitoes, but that tells you one thing with great certainty, that there's water, for sure. Because wherever there is river, there is plenty of water, there is a higher level of humidity, and that naturally gives you a lot of mosquitoes. So on both sides of the river, we have a lot of dry branches. So this is because we just had a flood, and when the flood is gone, those branches are broken, and they basically hang there saggy. After sunshine, they will be dried up. So this is such a great trip in Tarim River. We took the minibus, we had a mini tour with the train, and now we are on this boat, looking at the beautiful scenery of the poplar tree on both sides of the river. And it's such a different angle and such a great view. And you can see the shadows of the poplar tree right on the river, and you can have a closer look at the resilient lives of poplar tree. The river is providing life support to the trees, and the trees in return, they are like the green great wall, the guarding against the sand. All right, this is so far and so much about this river. I have a colleague who is at a different place, and I will hand it over to my colleague. All right, I'm at Bajo Yulin County. I'm at this ecological restoration zone for poplar tree. I will show you a lot of these infant trees. So the Tarim River is in general a very dry area. So how do we make the best use of this topography, and then understand how life can take form in this part of the region? So today we have Mr. Lin, who is director from the Xinjiang Ecological Institute of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Mr. Lin. All right, Mr. Lin, take us around. So first, let's take a look at our overflow seating area. So how many different zones you have in this experiment area? We have mainly two areas. The first is the seeding by root cutting, and the other zone is the overflow seeding zone. So what is this overflow seeding zone refers to? So in this part of the zone, we simply grow the small seed, and you can see on both sides of the Tarim River, we have a lot of poplar trees, and between July and August, that is the seeding season, and that is also the time when the water level rises. So we simply deploy spray irrigating to mimic the rise of the water level. We're simply mimicking this overflow of the river so that the water that will immerse or submerge those buds of the trees. We try to understand the frequency and the level of the irrigation And at the end of the day, we can come up with the irrigation system that is very scientific. So do we already have a lot of poplar trees taking buds here? Yes, you can watch closer here. And these are some of the infant trees. They're very dense actually, and they have just turned 1 month old. So these are small braids at the age of 1 month. And we simply took the samples in August, and to this day it's just a little bit over 1 month old. And you can see they are very small. It's very small on the ground, but beneath the ground, it has a very robust root system. We simply spray water on the ground so that the water can be sinked in the soil and it can be absorbed by the roots of those braids. So how long does it take for it to grow big? By next year, they will become 10 centimeters long, and it's very slow, and they have to grow their root first. And it takes a very long time for them to grow into some significant height. So I can see this is very dense. And does that mean that each and every braid will eventually become a very big poplar tree? No, that is not the case. And there is this survival of the fittest, and there is this competition for growth. Now it's very dense, but on a later date, maybe this area, this group of braids will have 1 or 2 successful ones that will eventually become trees. How long does it take for them to become trees behind us? Well, that takes very long, maybe 30 to 40 years. So this is truly remarkable, and it takes such a long time for them to grow. We simply take the braids of the poplar tree and we spread them in a ditch. Within 1 day, they will be dispersed around the area, and within 3 years, they will be all over the places. And within these first 3 years, we apply spray irrigation so that their seeds will take ground, and they will maybe first they need to kiss the ground, and then when there's water, they will bud. So water is a necessity. Absolutely. Humidity is also very important. And alkali and salt content is also very important. And just with water, it's not going to work. So when you have only water and no alkali, they will not be able to survive. So the salt content is very insignificant here. If you look around the budding area, we have relatively sufficient alkali content. So this is what we call the ditches that cut the roots of poplar trees. And you can see those are the ground buds of the poplar trees. So why do we need to dig a ditch that cut off the roots of the poplar tree? Well, you can see we have a mother tree right behind us. So this is, I believe, 10 meters between the ditch and the tree. And will they grow their roots to this distance? Yes, they have a very robust root system, and the longest one can reach maybe 20 meters. And I heard that their roots can go tens and sometimes dozens of meters deep underground. So when we are preserving the poplar tree, we would raise the underground water level by 4 to 6 meters, and that will make sure that all the roots can be fully submerged in water and they can absorb the water and support the growth of the plants. And so this is an experiment that we conducted in September 2020, and it's been a little over 2 years old. You can see that gives you the height of poplar trees now. So why do you need to cut off the roots? Isn't it better for them to just grow with their roots? Well, if we cut off the roots, we will breed more buds. We will actually help flourish the root system, and that will give you a lot of smaller seeds and smaller trees. So this is just one very technical method to improve the root system and the growth mechanism of the poplar trees. So this is just around 2 years, and this is the effectiveness of the root cutting breeding technology. So you have been doing a lot of research about the growth of poplar trees, and eventually you are going to improve the ecosystem of this area. How important is the poplar tree for the ecology here? So the poplar tree is very important for the lower reach of the Tarim River. It's not just for the lower reach of the basin, and it's very important for this entire region. It's one endangered species of plantation, and the poplar tree here accounts for 60% of the whole world. It also accounts for 90% of China's total in terms of poplar tree coverage. The poplar tree, they have formed a fortress of the river along this desert and Gobi region. So it's one very important part of the eco barrier in China's north. It's playing a very important role for ecological security of the country. So that is why we do attach great importance to the restoration of this plant. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Lin, for sharing with us your knowledge. So when to sow the braid, and when to add the water, and how much water you need to irrigate. So these are very detailed knowledge. From a braid to a tree, we can definitely be sure that there's a lot of human effort. Our colleague training is at a different place, and let's hand it over to her. All right, now we are at the Bozihulle poplar tree restoration area. A lot of the technical workers, they are busy between July and October is the flood season of Tarim River, and this is also the best time to supplement water to this park, because this is also the season for the poplar tree to take seeds and to take bud. It coincides with the flood cycle of the Tarim River. So when a river encounters with the poplar tree, they are truly helping the poplar tree to survive and thrive. A lot of the technical workers, they are busy smoothing the channels of river, and this is not as big as the river, and this is just the water pond, and they are very dispersed and scattered around the place, and they flow very slowly to this desert area. We have two colleagues here. One is Mr. Xu, Director of Lower Ridge Management Office of the Tarim Basin. We also have a representative from the Forest and Grassland Bureau of Luojiang County, Mr. Zhu Shibin. So everybody is very curious. So it's 5 or 6 kilometers away from the Tarim River, and where is the water from? So the water is actually from a reservoir nearby. We allow this overflow, and we put in some artificial efforts so that we can channel the water to this area. And this is what we call ecological water supplement. So do you conduct this year-round? No, we only do that during the flood season because we have plenty of water and we can irrigate the 400 to 500 mu of poplar tree forest. All right, I can see that during the flood season, you simply amass a lot of water and now you channel the water here. Well, the discharge actually starts in July, and that is simply the river from the reservoir. And now we have Mr. Xu. Good afternoon, my name is Xu Shengwu. We also have Party Secretary Zhu from the Forestry and Grassland Bureau of Luoqiang County. So we have been working on duty for 20 days here. We are putting in a lot of human efforts to help channel the water to this part of the poplar tree. And because there are some ecological and environmental limitations in this part of the park, so we simply rely on human efforts to channel the water here. Each and every year, our staff would conduct a patrol around this poplar tree park. So how large is this basin? So this year we're going to irrigate more than 5,000 mu of forests. So this is fairly difficult because look at the ground, it's not very flat, and you need to use the shovel to channel the water to all the different areas. So we're not hurting the environment here, we are simply leveling the ground just to make sure that the water can reach all the different parts. And 20 people, they have been working here for more than 20 days this year so far. So this is truly amazing, and you know that we are 5 to 6 kilometers from the Tarim River. So where does the water from? Where does the water come from? So the water actually comes from a reservoir, which is 8.5 kilometers away. And the Daxia's reservoir simply cut off the river and amasses a lot of water. So this is not the river from the Tarim, which is 5 to 6 kilometers away. So we are relying on a lot of human labor, human efforts to bring the water here. Take a look at the plantation here. A lot of them, they are dying. After irrigation, they can come back to life, just like the green grass on your left. So they're very resilient actually, and they may look like that they are dying, but only with some water, the life is going to come back to them because we are supplementing the underground water, and that will give you a lot of bushes and a lot of roots of the poplar trees. So this is a drought area, and you mentioned that every 3 years you're going to give a irrigation. Is that enough? Yes. We simply give water to the bushes and for the poplar tree because they have a very robust root system underground. So that is why we will have to supplement water to this area so that they can absorb the water from tens of meters deep underground. We cannot use machinery because if we use machinery, we're going to have some environmental impact. So that is why everybody is working very hard. Yes, we're getting tanned, and it's a team of 20 people. We defying the odds, enduring all the difficulties. So do you work and live in the world? Yes. So you can see how much effort we're putting into this. Next year we can expect a lot of bushes, a lot of trees here in this part of the country. So we are truly contributing to the ecological restoration of the country. For 23 consecutive irrigation, the water level underground has been risen dramatically. And this is because of your effort, because of the effort of your teams. Yes, and they are truly working very hard throughout the year. They are working on this 300 square kilometers park. They have to guard against forest fire, and they have to ensure irrigation. They are managing and controlling the forest in a very scientific and effective way. So for this kind of landscape, how large an area can you cover every day? Well, if we have plenty of water, we can ensure the irrigation of 1,000 mu per day. So that's a huge area. Well, we just need to make sure that the water flows the surface, and then the water will be soaked into the ground. So when the weather is very good, and the water is going to be sustained and retained there. In Taitama Lake and some nearby regions, we have taken a lot of aerial footages, and from those footages you can see how the Gobi Desert is turning into oasis, and you can see a lot of the waterways and channels and rivers, and wherever water flows, the color of green is going to show up. So you can see how important water is for this part of the region. And so this is truly a mind-blowing picture. And those mind-blowing picture, the reality because of the efforts of Mr. Xu and his teams. So Mr. Xu, can I understand it this way? The flood season between July and September, they will give you a lot of water in a lot of the reservoirs. So the water volume is very sufficient. So when the water is too excessive, and you're going to have floods. In Xinjiang, where traditionally and conventionally it's a very drought area, very dry area. So when you have the flood season, and that will give you a lot of disasters, especially those villages and the taking the brunt of those floods. But in recent years, because of the water resource facilities, for example, Daxi Heights Reservoir is very important. It's adjusting the volume of the river, so it can amass the water of the river, and during drought seasons we can utilize the water. Is that the mechanism that you are putting in place here? Yes, and we are putting in place a scientific adjustment of the river. We try to make sure that the water is used here locally to support agriculture irrigation and also ecological restoration. So for the water here, for this time of the year, are we having agriculture irrigation? We have already passed the time of agriculture irrigation, so that is why we are using water to restore our eco-environment, to irrigate the poplar trees and the different plantations here. And this year we have shown very good result. So the flood water is put into best use to supplement the irrigation needs of the poplar tree. So what are the features of this year's flood of the Tarim River? So in Yichang and Hetian River, there are plenty of water volume. So for agriculture irrigation, we consumed 15 billion cubic meters, and this is roughly 3 billion cubic meters more than traditional years. So which means this is a very good news for the agriculture irrigation. Yes, because the agriculture irrigation efficiency has improved dramatically. That means we are irrigating more agricultural land. So by next year, the agricultural grain output will definitely increase. So with this supplementation of water in this part, next year, if you come here, you will see a lot of bushes, a lot of the buddings of the trees, and the poplar tree forest will take on a new life, a new look. If you come here this year, you will definitely find, if you come back next year, you will definitely see a much larger green forest, and they will add a lot of vitality to this region. So tell us some plants that you have. So this is the red willow, and are dead already. So what are these? So this is the very vibrant red willow. And for those dead branches, nothing will do to bring back their life. But for those poplar trees, if we give them some water, life is going to come back. Far away from us, the poplar trees, and they may look lifeless, but life can come back. Correct? Yes, as long as we give it some water, life is going to come back for the poplar tree. So truly, this is an amazing job, and agricultural and ecological irrigation is very important. Through this consecutive irrigation over the years, you have truly made a great contribution. And do you feel that? Do you feel the difference? Yes, we can feel the difference very obviously. We have gone through 23 consecutive irrigation. The level of underground water has risen dramatically. We are fighting the certification. 10 years ago, there were a lot of deserts, and in recent years, more and more green color, more trees, of course, more bushes. At the Highway 218, on both sides, you can see this poplar tree forest. The ecological environment has improved dramatically, and we have less and less sandstorms. Over the past 3 years, we have truly improved the area of the bush and poplar trees. Over the next 3 years, we're going to put in place more irrigations, and during the 14th five-year plan period, more irrigations will be introduced to improve.
那在我身后的这一棵，就是这个景区树林最大的一棵胡杨树，要有5个我才能将它紧紧地环抱住。大家可以来猜一猜它的年龄有多大呢？